Hey there, internet friends. Trevor Starkey here, back for another episode of Trevor Relearns to Fly here on Microsoft Flight Simulator on my Xbox Series X as a part of That Nerdy Site Plays. So yeah, in the last episode, I went through and did the basic handling stuff here, getting up there in the plane, remembering what the items are, the meters and all that stuff, learning how to do the slight pitches and stuff like that, adjust the attitude, and so yeah, we're gonna try doing the training on takeoffs and landings today. Clearly, as you can see, I did not actually master everything last time around. I got lots of, I got a few A's in there, but mostly B's, but we will see how things go here in the takeoff and landing. If you did not catch, if you did not join me last time around, Microsoft Flight Simulator is, a game near and dear to my heart because it's the kind of game me and my sister would always give my father growing up, for like Christmas or his birthday. We would give him like whatever that year's iteration of Flight Simulator was because my family has a lot of pilots in it. I learned how to fly when I was about 10 years old. For my 10th birthday, my grandfather and mother took me up in my grandfather's little Mooney plane, and had me flying around, the Scottsdale area up to Sedona, which is conveniently where a lot of the training in this game is happening. And yeah, so it's definitely something I never got formally licensed and stuff. And so I think I said in the last episode, I learned how to take off, but I never landed in my grandfather's plane. I did not want to risk messing that up.
On the ground under its own power. In particular,
So yeah, we're gonna see how this goes.
Out to the hold short point on the edge of the runway. Steering on the ground is managed through the rudder pedals.
Yep.
That's right. Unlike driving a car, we turn by using our feet. Okay, ready? With the throttle idle, release your parking brake.
Okay. Let's...
Okay.
Goodbye, parking
Now,
brake.
gently increase throttle to get the aircraft moving. Go easy on your throttle. Use your rudder pedal to turn left and enter the taxiway. As you increase power, watch the tachometer and make sure to stay around 1,000 RPM.
Oh yeah, I'm way too...
Watch your speed.
Way too...
Now test the brakes.
Okay, let's...
Watch your speed.
Oh, hold X for the brake. Got it.
Good. Brakes checked. Taxi to the next exit, then come to a stop. Remember to control your speed with throttle and brakes. See the crossing in front of us? Stop before it as if traffic was coming off the runway.
Okay, why am I not... There we go. Slowly move there.
Watch your speed.
Yeah, I know. Yep.
Unfortunately, one of your wheels crossed out of the taxiway.
Yeah, I got it. Thanks.
Taxi to the next exit, then come to a stop. Remember to control your speed with throttle and brakes. See the crossing in front of us? Stop before it as if traffic was coming off the runway.
Okay, why did the thing stop? Because I'm... Like...
Unfortunately, one of your wheels crossed out of the taxiway.
It didn't.
All right, taxi to holding point Alpha
The
1
thing
next.
clearly wasn't
It's
going
at the
any
far
faster.
end of the airport near the head of runway 21. Stay as
Okay,
close
whatever.
as possible to the taxiway center marked by the yellow line. And watch your speed. Watch your speed. Watch your speed.
How? I'm pushing the friggin' thing. I wasn't doing anything to speed up. Screw you, game.
Watch your speed.
Watch it. How? What are you talking about? Whatever.
Watch your speed. After the right turn, come to a stop before the hold short point and prep for takeoff.
Okay, yeah, that's... Come on. I'm like right there. Why are you not? There you go. Okay, just creep in here and let's go ahead and hit the brakes again.
That was good taxiing.
It was not.
The next
but
challenge
thank you for
will
saying
be to
so.
keep the aircraft under control while at full throttle for takeoff.
All right, that was a rough start on this one. Not gonna lie, I feel like I should have been able to do that better, but the like taxiing and the throttle and the brakes were not working in my favor. Do some takeoff.
There's an old saying I like. A mile of road will take you a mile. A mile of runway will take you anywhere. Taking off isn't hard, but there are a few key points to remember. First, we always take off into the wind, which won't be an issue on a calm day like today. Second, before we enter a runway, we always make sure it's clear. Check to the right to see if a vehicle is on the runway, and to the left to make sure no other planes are approaching. Everything looks good, no cross traffic. Go ahead and taxi into position. Now slowly taxi onto the runway and align the plane with the center line. Then stop your plane just after the number 21.
Stop. What the hell? I am holding X, and it didn't do crap to break my plane.
Keep working on it. You'll get better. All right, let's do this. Apply full power, and I'll walk you through the takeoff as we go. Use your rudders to stay on the center line, and keep pushing power until you reach 55 knots. Good. Now gently pull back on the yoke.
Shit. No. That's
Pull
not
back
gently.
on the yoke to take off.
That's not gently. Come on. Man, I'm clearly in the air.
Pull
Clearly
back
taking
on the
off.
yoke, and we're airborne. Line up the top of your instrument panel so it's a couple of inches above the horizon. That'll pitch us up and set a good climb attitude. Focus on flying straight. Use your rudders to keep the runway heading of 210 degrees. Maintain 75 knots, and we'll reach our target altitude of 5,500 feet in no time. You put your plane in a dangerous situation.
What are you talking about? I did not.
All right, let's do this. Apply full power, and I'll walk you through the takeoff as we go. Use your rudders to stay on the center line, and keep pushing power until you reach 55 knots. Good. Now gently pull back on the yoke. back on the yoke to take off.
I've
And
done
we're
that, thank
airborne.
you.
Line up the top of your instrument panel so it's a couple of inches above the horizon. That'll pitch us up and set a good climb attitude. Focus on flying straight. Use your rudders to keep the runway heading of 210 degrees. Maintain 75 knots and we'll reach our target altitude of 5,500 feet in no time. Situation.
Did not. Screw
All right,
you.
let's do this. Apply full power and I'll walk you through the takeoff as we go.
Okay, so what, climbing too fast and so the speed dropped too low? Okay.
Use your rudders to stay on the center line and keep pushing power until you reach 55 knots. Good. Now gently pull back on the yoke. Back on the yoke to take off. And we're airborne. Line up the top of your instrument panel so it's a couple of inches above the horizon. That'll pitch us up and set a good climb attitude. Focus on flying straight. Use your rudders to keep the runway heading of 210 degrees. Maintain 75 knots and we'll reach our target altitude of 5,500 feet in no time. Maintain 75 knots and climb to 5,500 feet.
Working on it.
Okay, 5,500 feet. You've reached your target altitude. Good job.
Alright, whatever. I blame that on a bad instructor. Dead stick landing, okay. Just jumping right into the landing, huh? Okay.
For this landing exercise, I want you to focus on the yoke only. We're close enough to the runway to land safely without adding any throttle. Maintain a speed of around 65 knots. Pitch down if you're going too slow. Pitch up if you're too fast. Keep your airspeed at 65 knots. When you're 10 feet above the runway, it's time to flare. To flare means to raise the nose of the aircraft to slow your descent for a softer landing, but without ever leveling off or climbing. The main landing gear will touch down before the nose wheel does.
Okay, why are you saying I'm not aligned with the runway?
We're coming up on flare height. Resist the temptation to pull back. Now focus on the end of the runway and pull back slightly on the yoke to aim the nose just above it. Nice. Now apply the brakes to slow us down and bring the plane to a stop. That was excellent.
Woohoo! I got an A. Just barely, but I'll take it. Landing without elevator.
In this landing exercise, I want you to focus on staying on the glide path using the throttle only. Smooth action on the throttle is key for remaining on the correct glide path. If you find yourself too high, reduce your power. If you're too low, increase it. Remember though, always make soft corrections. You don't want to overcompensate.
Too high. And I'm way too low because nothing is compensating correctly.
Now you can use the elevator to land.
I really can't though, can I? So why did I nowhere near the freaking thing?
Reduce throttle to idle.
Don't know what that means, but sure.
Now focus on the end of the runway and pull back slightly on the yoke to aim the nose just above it.
Alright, that did not go well at
Nice.
all. Nope,
Now
nope.
apply the brakes to slow us down and bring the plane to a stop.
That was a significantly rockier landing.
You did well, but you can do better.
Yeah, I know.
Resist the
Give me the
temptation
B.
to
Give
pull
me the
back
B.
when above the flare height.
Combine throttle and yoke to land safely. Okay. There's definitely like a sensitivity thing here that like I can't. The joystick just on the controller just isn't what I want it to be in terms of like movement for some of this, but I'm not about to go into settings and modify that mid Let's Play, so.
My first instructor used to say, the best part of flying is landing in one piece. Today, you're in charge of bringing us in for a safe landing. And I've already set us up in landing configuration at 65 knots with 10 degrees of flaps and idle power. Keep your aim point on the runway threshold. When you're 10 feet above the runway, it's time to flare.
Yeah, because I can gauge 10 feet, thanks. Steady Easy, Trevor. Just don't break things. Don't get too annoyed that you keep drifting off to one side. Yeah, I know. I'm not aligned with the runway now. Oh, and I'm not maintaining 65 knots either. There we go. Nope, nowhere near the runway or 65 knots. Okay, I don't know what you want from, like, a line with runway. Because I feel like I'm gonna land on the runway.
Reduce throttle to idle.
Okay, I didn't realize it wasn't already there. But
Now focus on the end of the runway and pull back slightly on the yoke to aim the nose just above it. Nice. Now apply the brakes to slow us down and bring the plane to a stop. That was excellent.
thank you. Alright. Another A. Hooray. Ooh, downwind landing. Okay. Oh no, nope, not downwind landing. I need to actually like make the turn and like line up the landing. Okay. This is gonna probably suck.
Okay, we're currently flying on the downwind leg at the standard traffic pattern altitude of 6,000 feet. It's a flight path parallel to the landing runway, but in the opposite direction. In downwind, you want to start preparing for landing. That means setting your speed and flaps configuration. Reduce speed to 80 knots. Maintain constant altitude and heading. The flaps provide extra lift at the expense of additional drag. This extra lift allows flying at a lower airspeed. Flaps allow for smoother and shorter landings. Go ahead and extend 10 degrees of flaps, all while maintaining current altitude.
Don't even know how to do that. Okay.
We're gonna fly past the end of the runway here. Keep going until you see it at a 45-degree angle behind you. That's your cue to turn left onto the base leg.
Oh, I'm going way too slow. Get back up to 80 knots and 6,000 feet. I'm way too slow. I get back up to 80 knots.
Turn left onto the base leg.
All right, I guess we're not doing that then. saying turn left, and I'm definitely going straight towards the base leg, so I don't know how much more left I need to be turning. It was just supposed to be like a steady. Okay, well, that was the end of the base leg.
Try to maintain 1400 RPM. That'll also keep our speed around 65 knots. Turn left onto final. Keep an eye on the runway as we get ready for our final turn. Keep a stabilized approach and prepare for landing.
No, way too fast. I would like on this, but should be okay,
right? Apply the brakes and stop the plane. That was all right. A little more practice will help your accuracy, though.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead, fine. Give me a C, whatever. Grr. All right. Last one for takeoff and landing. Take your first solo flight. I'm going to take off, and I'm going to do a spin. Okay. Loop around, and then bring it back in for a landing.
It's time.
Give
Your
this a
first
shot.
solo flight. I'll be watching from the ground in radio contact if you need me, but something tells me you won't. Your goal is to complete Sedona's left-hand traffic pattern on your own. Remember what we covered in our previous sessions, and you'll be just fine. Good luck. See you on the other side. Climbing up to almost at 75 knots. There we are. It's just a matter of getting up to 5,700 feet and maintaining 75 knots. Way too fast.
6,000 knot or 6,000 feet. Okay. And okay. I got going way too slow to be able to get up to 75 knots in time to get there. Yeah, alright, whatever. It's like way sharper than a 30-degree angle too. Okay, come on, almost at 6,000 feet. Where's the... There we go. Going too fast, so I'm going to slow down without plummeting. Or without climbing too high. Go. Okay, except, 6,000 feet and 80 knots. There's the magic thing, and then I suddenly lose 6,000 feet. Okay, the flaps really screwed me on the speed. So. Turning left for the base leg. Should probably be dropping some altitude. Use power to 14 RPM. Seeing it drop to 14 RPM. Okay, there we go. Turn left for the final approach. And we gotta maintain 65 knots, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit the flaps again to knock down the speed. Oh shit. Alright, crap, I'm gonna crash. smoothest. And come on, brakes, do your thing before we get to the end of this runway. Ta-da!
You did well, but you can do better.
Yeah, I know.
You're on your way to becoming one hell of a pilot.
All right. There is the takeoff and landing lessons done. Oops, nope, cancel. Let's see, back to the training menu. 78% on the originals and 73% there. All right. Yeah. I think next time we'll just kind of do some fun flyover stuff. So yeah, that is going to do it for another episode here of That Nerdy Site Plays as Trevor relearns how to fly in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Again, solid C, solid passing grade. I'm okay with that. I'm not out here trying to actually get a license or anything like that. I just want to fly over my old high school or something silly like that. So we'll see if I can manage to pull that off in the next episode here of Trevor Plays Microsoft Flight Simulator. Thank you for joining me. You can find out all these Let's Plays over on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/thatnerdysite, which is where you already are if you're watching this, so I don't know why I did that as part of this outro. Whatever. Go check out all of the other episodes that we have there, as well as our podcasts and all that fun stuff. As always, I've been Trevor Starkey. Thank you for joining me. Stay nerdy and be good to each other.